Alright guys, let's see if we can get going here. Of course they started early. Why wouldn't they start early? Not like people are actually trying to film these things or anything. Alright, so let's get Twitch. I'm going to get Twitch set up. It should be up and running. I do have to change all the specs on it and everything. But it looks like we've got All-Stars playing light side. He's playing Yavin 4 Ops against Tom playing dark side, playing Black Sun, which is interesting given that Tom is usually the one playing Yavin 4 Ops. So it's interesting to see him playing something separate there. I'll try and get the information switched over. It's our third game of the day. Earlier today, we saw Mr. Yellow pick up a small win by 4 over Cryptophis. It's a game that Crypto seemed like he was in control of most of the game, but his damage potential just kind of fizzled out. And Mr. Yellow was able to claw his way back into that. And then just a few minutes ago, we finished up a game between Silver Glen and Spidey Guy. I actually have to check and find out the results of that. I left to go eat dinner and missed the end of that game. Oh, this is not Black Sun. I'm sorry. This is Coruscant CRV. I was like, where's the Prince? But no, totally misread that. So we've got security precautions, Imperial Arrest Order, and the Grabber. He just went ground first and just threw Dengar down by himself, which is going to get projectioned here. And we've got turn 1, we've got Luke aboard red 5 with Haven at Yavin 4. He started Insight, possibly to ditch for Honor if he was worried about Hunt Down or something. But that does not appear to be something he need to worry about. I guess he just didn't have a third effect. Excuse me. I apologize. Just finished up some dinner here. Thanks to Queso Sauce for taking care of the 2 earlier games today. Tom's going to go ahead and get the 3rd Palace site out. He's going to move Dengar over. So either he's banking on having some type of barrier protection, which he should in his 18 card monstrous hand at this point. I guess he's taking advantage of the fact that the KTOD are not usually known for playing Grimtosh Monarch in their decks. Occasionally, on rare occasions, you might see it pop up, but for the most part, they don't use those cards. So Tom's taking advantage and drawing as big a hand as he can get. and Justin just went and got the Grimtosh, and then went ahead and played it. To which Tom did grab it, but it looks like they decided, just when you think you've got all the answers, those guys changed the questions. So he gets a drain of 1. He does draw the 5, which is what he would need to liberate Yavin. Tom plays a Dark Time, which he still has in his hand after getting Grimtoshed, and subtracts 1, so therefore that will miss, and the system will not be liberated. So it'll just be a drain of 1. And he top decks a Dr. E combo. And Luke will... He's going to go upload a Darklighter Spin all wings combo, most likely, and then he'll use the all wings to pull out whatever matching ship he needs that he's got a matching pilot for between his hand or his reserve deck. He'll shuffle, and then probably, especially with Tom not having a force available to grab, he used the free grabber already on the Grimtosh, so this would be the best time for Justin to go ahead and play it. And we'll go ahead and make my head a little smaller. That way you guys can see some of the chat box, at least as it scrolls by. We'll move it over here for now. He's going to use a force. He's going to play an out of commission combo. So he was really sold on Hunt Down. Between out of commission combos and Insight, I guess he really expected Tom to play Hunt Down. He gets the combat readiness, not the Dr. E combo that he was hoping for, but he does get a card out of his hand in the process and puts a 5 somewhere where he can track around to it. Tom's going to reload his hand. Now that Justin has played his Grimtosh, it's probably pretty safe for him to just load his hand right back up. And Tom does draw a ton of cards to get back up to 19. Oh, he draws Boosh and misses, giving away some information about a card in hand. Tom loses an Emoidian Advisor. I guess that would be for whatever system he's playing. I guess if he wants to get a Battleground system, that's probably the card he would use to fish it out. Justin plays all wings to go get a ship, and there are no ships in his deck. Tom decides not to grab it, though. Interesting. I guess he's saving it for something else. And he does get red 8. Red 8's the one that lets him play a defensive shield when he deploys it, which it also deploys as a react. Not doing a whole lot, but just giving him one more snub fighter should help him to liberate said system. He's going to play an escape pod. We're doomed. Ah, okay. He's just playing it to put a card back. He's playing it to cancel force loss, which doesn't exist. I thought he was fishing out another like Hujix or something like that. That he's going to get a second Grimtosh, and I was going to say I don't think anybody would have seen that one coming. Tom's going to play Monarch now. He's going to play the it used. He's going to cut Justin down now for Justin drawing over 12. So interesting. We've seen both players use these cards now. Fairly, certainly very destructive hand damaging cards, but not certainly something that we often see played as much. But they certainly can be, it is a bit random. Sometimes you end up helping your opponent because you put all the cards back that they didn't want, put all their high destiny cards back for them, and other times you get all the key cards that they were setting up for and really end up hand screwing them. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. I mean, obviously Tom didn't do much on his turn after Justin played the Grimtosh on him. He just sort of reloaded his hand. Spent the turn basically just moved Dengar and drew like 12 more cards right back up. And here comes so we're going to get an Emperor Shuttle package. It looks like Emperor Shuttle, and Grand Moff Tarkin. I wonder if Justin plays any type of organized attack to make his ships also immune to attrition. That would be pretty beneficial here. I mean, Red 5 is completely immune, I believe, as well. Let's see if we can't... Well, look, piloting, maneuver +2, immune to attrition, and then you can battle or force drain regardless of objective restrictions. Agent Callus. Reveal top 2 cards of reserve deck, takes 1 into hand. So he is just another decent ability forfeit pilot. Top deck's 2 cards, but since There are no ISB agents for the most part outside of ISB. I don't know that he will add a Destiny, but he is another leader, another guy to work with Tarkin. He revealed Mara and No Escape, and he took Mara. Okay, there's the organized attack from Justin. He also added on Cure Canos. If in battle with an Imperial once per game, may cancel a non-immune to sense interrupt. Which he could do, because this part is not immune to sense. Actually, the whole card's not immune to sense. So if he wants to burn his one-off Cure Canos, now would be the time to do so. Tom's not going to do that, though. Justin's going to add one with Haven. Haven is an optional draw. You'll see right here it says when battling here you may add one, so you have to declare it. Same thing with Tarkin. Tarkin says may, so it has to be declared. So Tom's going to get 3 Battle Destiny. He draws Ganna Gleamort. She's the one who... Number of proponents, aliens, same adjacent sites may lose 1 force to cancel a force drain at an adjacent site. Okay. Sith Fury and Boba Fett Bounty Hunter. And he's going to redraw the Boba Fett Bounty Hunter. And he gets worse, and he gets Darth Maul instead. Should have been happy with what you had. Yeah, he had 10 for total Battle Destiny, putting him up to 12. Instead, he's going to be stuck with 8. Now, looks like Light Side's going to get 2 Battle Destiny of their own, 1 for ability, 1 for Haven. And everything's going to be completely immune on both sides of the table, but it's going to come down to battle damage and just power and battle damage. This ship is only maneuver 6. So whether if he wants to do an all-wings combo to spin a 6, Cure Canos would very likely cancel that, but it would come down to adding on some more battle damage. And he's just going to draw. We wish to board it once, which pulls Obi and Radiant 7. He's just trying to draw high enough to make Tom. He is going to go for the spin. Doesn't cancel it. If in battle with an Imperial once per game, may cancel a non-immune to sense interrupt. So he doesn't cancel it, and he's got 10 battle damage as a result, and loses Cure Canos. So that puzzles me. I'm not quite sure why Tom didn't use Cure Canos there. Maybe I missed something while I was looking away, trying to make sure the stream and everything was working right. But it seemed like he had 2 opportunities to use Cure Canos in a battle, didn't use it for either one, and then ended up losing Cure Canos because he didn't use him to cancel either card. So that seems like a bit of a misplay by Tom. Maybe he's got 2 Cure Canos. He's definitely going to get force drained here, and it's going to end up like, so if he was thinking he was going to no escape him back or something like that, that doesn't seem likely to happen. So if maybe he's playing 2 Cure Canos. I don't know. Anybody in the chat got any suggestions as to why he wouldn't have just used Cure there? I feel like I'm yelling. Am I too loud? You guys can tell me. You can be like, shut up. Luke digs out another all-wings combo. $20 players watching the game too. Looks like we've got More than a few people in here. You can't scroll down so you can't see everybody. Alright, so he does pay to drain, and he does draw the 5, which is enough to liberate it. So Tom's going to have to stack a card, and then that's going to make him get drained for 2 now. He loses a card from reserve deck, so neither player will see what it is. He top decks a point man and a force field. X-Wing laser cannon would certainly be a card Justin would love to have right about now. For those of you who don't know, All-Stars is Justin. I don't feel like saying All-Stars all day, so he's Justin. Because shooting down that little maneuver 3 Emperor shuttle would be a great benefit to light side. No combat response from dark side, obviously. It's possible they may have a short range fighters in like a Slave 1 or something, or maybe a Maul's Infiltrator. Possibly Zuckuss, something like that. This is going to be very, seems more ground oriented with the 3 Coruscant locations and things like force field. Probably a little less space heavy, probably just more of like a token space package. All-Stars opts not to move over. He'll be content with his drain at 2. Now he's going to go ahead and rebuild his hand some. He does draw back over 12 though. Draws pretty big back up to 16. That's going to let Tom go ahead and drain 2 and 1 for free because of battle order. Pitches an organized attack. And something else. Another cop, an R2 in red 5. And then an escape pod, we're doomed. So interesting. He's playing both generic red 5 and Destiny 7 R2 in red 5. There's Min Kun, the other brother. Use a force to place opponents. Just played interrupt out of play. Hopefully you usually save that for something good that's a used interrupt that you don't want them using over and over again. Something like neighbor leads, or it could be worse, or something like that. Tom's going to draw a mountain of cards again, perhaps looking for that Monarch. Finds a second point man, so he'll use that to see what those other 6 cards that are left are. See if it was the Monarch that he just fished out. Well, no, he plays it right now. Nope. Well, he'd play it now in the activate phase. That way all the cards would be in his used pile. Coward's out, so Luke can't retrieve. So he'll go ahead and go look for another all wings combo. Check out what's in his deck. It's an interesting matchup. I haven't played too much with the space heavy Yavin 4 operations type decks. Usually it's more of like the ground based versions, or it's more like a mains platform, or uh, it's just some other thing where they're just using it as a platform. Now we see Red 10 come down with the X-Wing cannon, so he's definitely going to take that shot and try and get rid of Emperor's shuttle here. We did see Mara in ship earlier, which is what he took into hand with Agent Callus. And he does deploy Gold Leader. That would enable him, if Rebels control 2 battleground systems, he could flip his objective. So Tom's going to play Combat Readiness to activate a bunch of force. Tom loves doing these in his decks. He plays Combat Readiness and Careful Planning all the time in his decks. He likes to use these used 5s that then accelerate and allow him to activate more force. In this case, he draws a trample, so he gets 4 extra force. So now he's got 9 force available. You'd like to see something bigger than that come down on top of it, like react with a Star Destroyer or something, or in this case that wouldn't be great because the ship's about to get shot down. But he's not exactly hurting for activation. He's getting 15, so being able to activate extra force doesn't necessarily seem that important right now. All-Stars is going to fire the X-Wing cannon. He does spend the 3, as long as he doesn't draw a 1, realistically, because we'll say a Dark Time could subtract 1. He draws a 5, so that's going to be a hit and immediately lost. Well, it's not hit, it's just immediately lost. It clears, takes Darkside's biggest space presence away in one fell swoop, and simultaneously flips light side's objective. We'll see what the backside does. During battles at sites related to systems you occupy, you get +2 power for each unique snub fighter. During the draw phase, if a system is liberated, which it is, you can place a card from your lost pile out of play to retrieve a force. And it's any force. So he puts something he doesn't want out of play, like his starting interrupt heading for the medical frigate, and he pays 1 because Secret Plans is out there, and retrieves any card he wants. So he could get back, say, R2 and Red 5, or Escape Pod We're Doomed. Maybe it's not. Maybe I misread that. To retrieve 1 force. Okay, so it's just the top card, so you get the top card back. It's not like Hitco, which gets you any card back. My apologies for that. Well, he did have the Dark Time as well. So, yeah, he was saving it for the 1, but Tom's really loading up here, and he stacks a couple Destinies together as well. The 5, he's basically got 5, 4, 4 in his used pile now. So he could activate these remaining 10 cards. Oh, he's going to put the so he's going to put the grabber in the lost pile, and he's going to retrieve a starship. He's got plenty of force to spend for it to get, I guess, the shuttle back. I'm sure he's got more Emperors and Tarkins. He could activate right to it, have it sitting on top. I don't know if he's got a way to get to it, though. Whether he wants to forlom for it, or whether he wants to just draw 1 or 2 cards, take it right back into hand. Tarkin's Bounty. That will certainly work. Put it on any leader. Min Kun qualifies. And now he can go get any card out of his force pile he wants, including said shuttle. And here comes the shuttle right back. Now he does have to be careful, because even though he doesn't have any force to make the shuttle immediately lost, he does still have an X-Wing laser cannon there that can shoot this thing. So Get a shuttle with an Emperor. He'll spend 2. I'll slow him down a little bit because of the golden rod shield. And there's Papa Tarkin again. And there's his battleground system, Kashyyyk. And he's going to put Mara down there. Okay. See who's going to pilot that. Doesn't need a pilot, but it does get an extra battle destiny when it has a pilot. He's going to try his luck again. You know, All-Stars, he's got plenty of 5s in his deck, so he could easily hit this, just shooting without firing force. He draws a Hujix and miss, and you see from the chat, Tom totally forgot the cannon was there, it looks like. So, as Steve Baroni often says, better lucky than good, and Tom's going to rub his lucky charms, his magic horseshoe, whatever he's got going on there. I mean, he's going to have to spend a couple of force because of Gold Leader here. Gold Leader's going to make him spend 3 force. I'm curious about Theranet. Oh, this is virtual Theranet. I was going to say the non-V Theranet adds a destiny to power or something like that, but it's the V one. So yeah, so Gold Leader's going to make him spend a force for each battle destiny that he draws. He's going to draw high because these are all the cards that he put back. The 4, 5, 5. But those destinies are going to get broken up now because now there's going to be the card that he had to spend to draw each of them stuck in between. So he won't have quite that clump of good destiny draws that he can track around on a future battle. But he does still get 13 for his total. And Lightside's only getting 1 draw here. So they're going to lose. All their ships are going to get cleared out. They won't cause any damage back with just their 1 draw. So they're just going to have to deal with 13 attrition here. No organized attack to keep their ship safe this time around. And that'll flip him back because he doesn't have 2 systems anymore. Tom pulls code clearance, just in case he might like Starship Levitation or anything. Which he can't do right now anyway because of Coward, but just thinking ahead, I guess. It is certainly interesting to see, deck diversity here between these 2 players. I don't think these are decks we've really seen played too frequently. So it's nice to see, some of the different options that we've seen in all the games today. I mean, we've seen some of your typical, top-tier decks on both sides. But we got to see Rebel Strike Team, which we haven't seen in a while. Now we're seeing Yavin 4 Ops, Coruscant CRV. Decks that do well, they're just not as prevalent as, Black Sun, Throne Room, Hitco, Huntdown, Map, that kind of stuff. Excuse me. All-Stars goes to verify his deck, looking for another Darklighter spin, which isn't there. He's down at 12 cards now, though, so no Monarch threat. does let him know which guys he could potentially match up for. We'll also see if maybe he was feeling like Tom's verified now a couple of times, so he should know whether or not All-Stars is running any type of EPPs or anything like that that could threaten Min and Dengar. And then we'll see what he wants to do to address these drains in space, because right now he's looking at 2, 4, 5, 6 total damage coming out of next turn, so he'll want to do something to address some of this stuff. Alright, so we get an OB and Radiant 7. Got good ability. 6 ability, starships can't cloak. Total ability here may not be reduced. Basically the anti-Darth Maul card. And he's got Poe Dameron aboard. Piloting adds a Battle Destiny and makes anything immune to less than 5. So that's 2 Battle Destiny and immune to less than 5. Taking on just lonely Mara Jade, who gets 1 Battle Destiny and is only immune to less than 4. And Justin, being the pro that he is, knows that the last card that Tom drew for Battle Destiny on that previous turn was a 4. It was a trample, so that should be the card that's still on top. He's going to go fish out of Force Lightning and shuffle. So could be good, could be bad, but he knows the 4 wasn't getting there, so he's got to try and find something better, see what his odds are. He also played Blow Parried. Cancels, Clash, Glancing Blow, or the Journal. Usually it's just meant to cancel Clash. Occasionally you get the Journal, though. But it also just has the used function of just drawing the top card from your force pile. Can do stuff with combat, but that's pretty rare to see light side combat played these days. It's just not quite as powerful as it once was. There's that Hujix again that he drew for Weapon Destiny the turn before. See if he's got a second Better Destiny behind it. It's a hit for a 3, so he has exactly 4 with 2 Battle Destiny. No Dark Time for Tom, as he played it the turn before to set up the Destinies. He blind draws a 5. So the ship's going to go for Dark Side. Mara Jade's ship's going to have to be forfeited, but Poe will cover for Light Side. We'll see what he wants to do with his last couple cards here, whether he wants to move the red 8 over, so that way at least he has a snub fighter or something there to try and make this easier to liberate next turn. Nah, he's just going to stand pat and draw 2 cards. So Tom's going to go ahead and he's going to get drains of 2, 1, and 1 in this turn, and doesn't have to pay for any of them, which is pretty important. And All-Stars is going to have to look for an answer for that, whether it be another cannon or just more ships, or whether he's going to want to try and get a ground site of his own at some point. This middle site would be the ideal one because it's the one that is not force drain minus. All-Stars loses We Wish to Board It Once from hand. The other Luke Skywalker from hand, the one that adds a destiny to power or attrition. Then he top decks an out of commission combo and a relatively unprotected. So he loses a 5 and a 7 off the top after drawing a 1 and a 3 the turn before, which is always a good, shot in the pills there. And Tom's got EPP Maul in the Sith Infiltrator. So the Infiltrator's immune while Maul piloting. EPP Maul doesn't add any power. None of the Mauls actually add to power. So he'll go ahead and battle this. It's just power 4, but it's completely immune to attrition. And Obi and Radiant 7 is not. We'll come down to some Battle Destiny draws here to see if there's any battle damage being owed. Tom at least gets the 4 with the Dark Time. Be unlikely that he draws All-Stars draws a 3. So Obi and Radiant 7's gonna go away. Tom's got his second system back now, putting it back in the driver's seat. He's going to reload with a few more cards. But he might want to start thinking about drawing a little bit less and protecting some of that differential. It's a little early to be thinking about that. You know, obviously you need to have cards to make sure that you can keep fighting and keep clearing stuff off the board. But you know, you don't want to draw too big of a hand and not be able to put cards back and things like that, and you know, end up winning a game by a lot less than you should, especially going into in a match play situation. All Stars does drain for 2. Throws away another EPP Maul and Gana Gleamort. So light side's ahead 20 to 17 right now. And they're going to go ahead and match up Wedge and Red Squadron 1. He's going to check out his destinies while he's in there. I would expect Wedge to have an X-Wing cannon when he hits the table. Especially if he's going there after the Emperor. Highly unlikely that Tom's playing anything like Ceasefire to prevent weapons from being used. So I would expect to see an X-Wing cannon here and Wedge to shoot down the Emperor shuttle again. And then possibly consider moving in front of Maul, depending how much force he has. You won't have enough force, really. He might just have to eat the drain in front from Maul for a turn or 2. Nope. I was wrong. No X-Wing cannon. He moves Red 8 over with Wedge. Saves 3 force. Could be a second organized attack. He's going to all wings and fish. All Stars is going to all wings and fish out a ship now. He did save 3 force, so we could see something like playing a second organized attack if he needs to stack it. The other possibility is that he's got rapid fire in his hand, which lets you deploy a weapon from reserve deck. And he was just verifying to make sure that he actually has a weapon in his reserve deck. So yeah, he would hopefully convince, induce his opponent into initiating the battle against him, respond to the battle, play the rapid fire to pull the X-wing laser cannon out, and then have 3 force to shoot the cannon and end the battle. But we shall see what happens there. In the meantime, he blocks the drains in space, so he only has to lose on the ground. He does lose an all wings combo from hand. He loses an out of commission combo from hand. Again, not wanting to top deck anything. Yeah, that's okay. Tom has a second Cure Canos. That explains why he did not use Cure Canos the first time around, because it is a once per game. So he's got a second copy of it, and All-Star says in the chat, not good. Yeah, because that's exactly what he was probably doing, was setting up the rapid fire, and now Tom's going to cancel it. And he adds a Dr. E and Ponda Baba combo, the second one of those, onto Maul's Infiltrator, to getting more power there. Alright, there's the rapid fire to deploy the weapon, which Canos is going to cancel. I guess the question mark is does All-Stars have 2 of them? He does have 2 of them. He slow rolled Tom, made him think that he was in a bad spot. He had 2 copies of rapid fire. Slow roll. He gets the X-wing laser cannon out. And he'll spend 3 to shoot now. Draws us, it could be worse, which is a 4. Gives him 7 total. That'll take down the Emperor shuttle for the second time. And he credits that one to Mr. Baroni, as we mentioned earlier. Baroni tech there. So big move for All-Stars. Paid off. He got lucky having both copies. If he didn't have the second copy, he would have been in a pretty difficult situation. But just bad luck for Tom. He made the good move playing the second copy of Cure Canos. He saved the once per game use, but unfortunately his opponent had 2 copies of the card. You just can't see that stuff coming. But Tom's going to go ahead and try and battle Luke, get a little redemption here. They're both completely immune to attrition, so it's really just going to be more of a power thing. Tom draws a 4, so he's up 5 right now, so All-Stars will have to draw a 5 to tie. And if he draws lower than that, then he'd end up taking overflow. He draws a 5, it's a tie. So that's a big push. Nothing happens there. We are up to 27 players in the gem chat, though, watching the game. So, wow. But only 9 of you in the Twitch chat. Let's see if we can't recruit some people. Up our Twitch numbers a little bit. All-Stars attempts to drain it. He does do the drain at Bespin. He attempts to liberate and misses. He draws Hark Seth. There's a ship pilot we haven't seen yet. He does have 2 battlegrounds now, so he can retrieve one with Luke. He'll go ahead and retrieve the rapid fire that was canceled. He reveals the Overseer, which he knows the matching pilot isn't there for, because he just drew Harkseth for Destiny. And I think he'll probably just consolidate his ships together. He was Wedge moves over with the gun in front of Maul. Red 8 moves back to where the Haven is, so if need be, at least it would get a Battle Destiny draw. If Tom has any more ships up his sleeve, we've already seen Mara Jade in her Decimator and Emperor Shuttle package. Tom will continue to just grind away on the ground. He's got these 2 drains of 1 and 1, which are have not gone, have been completely uncontested. All-Stars plays it could be worse to reduce one of the drains, which, as we mentioned earlier, Min Kun uses his once per game and puts that out of play. Certainly doesn't want to see that card getting looped around. And All-Stars will lose an all-wings combo from hand. Tom runs away. And pulls Resistance. He does have 3 battlegrounds. I think that's probably his final shield pull. But and then he's going to draw a few cards here. He's only got 2 cards in his reserve deck. That'll play below parried. At least that'll get him a 3rd card back in his reserve deck. Alright, he's going to point man and put something back as well. And check out these bottom 6 cards. And All-Stars finally grabs something. He grabs the point man. I guess he's tired of Tom just fishing out whatever card he wants. He wants to make him actually just start digging for stuff. Plus he takes a 5 out of the equation. That would have been on top. So now it's just the 3 that's sitting on top there. The blow parried. And with no Emperor on the table, Tom does not have an easy way to shuffle his deck. Should All-Stars find a way to battle. So, but first things first, he's going to drain a Kashyyyk. And miss as he draws Hark Seth again. So it's only a drain at 2. Tom throws away a force field and a force push. And Luke can go ahead and retrieve one now because he's got 2 battlegrounds again. So Tom's got 14 cards in hand, but only 7 cards left down, so that's not a lot of force for him to work with on a turn-by-turn basis. And All-Stars has the opposite. He's got he's got 18 cards left down and 7 in hand, so certainly ahead. And he'll go ahead and match for the Overseer, which again he just drew Harkset for Destiny, so he's really just finding a way to verify what those 4 cards are in his deck and see if it's conceivable to go battle anywhere. Otherwise, I guess we'll probably just see Wedge and the X-Wing cannon chasing Maul around for a while. I think there's a short window in here where All-Stars could flip. Rebels control 2 battleground systems. If he moved Luke to Bespin, he could have flipped. And then you just have to occupy 2 battlegrounds to stay flipped. So like you could have moved Luke to Bespin and then moved Wedge over. So Wedge would be in front of Maul to shoot at him. But didn't quite work out like that. So instead he's going to move Red Squadron 8 out to Coruscant on its own, not really fearful of the 7 force that Tom has available to work with and the potential for any future ships. It's fairly likely that he's got the It's a Hit in his hand then to cancel that drain. Also picked up another possible location for him to drain for himself as well. And now you've got fully immune Luke back in front of fully immune Maul. All-Stars is going to rescue in the clouds, not just setting up some destinies. He'll take out the lowest destiny card. He'll shuffle, but then he knows that 3 cards down, he's got a 5 sitting there. Hopefully get himself something useful in hand in the process, of course. But, just being able to, set up a solid destiny. Well, he does play Escape Pod. He does Grimtosh. Oh, he takes the Grimtosh back, the Grimtosh that Tom gave him back, and Tom's sitting at 13 cards right now. If he wanted to, he could play it, and he does. I'll take 5 cards out of Tom's hand. He's hoping that they're 5 good ones and not 5 useless cards. He may, again, with Tom only having about 8 force to work with, it might help him out a little bit, which Tom points out in the chat as well. It's one of those things you don't know whether it's the right move until like a turn after you've done it. So it'll really come down to what those 5 cards in Tom's use pile are as to whether or not All-Stars did the right thing with that. Yep, there's the It's a Hit that we were expecting. And now he's going to rescue in the clouds again. And then there's another drain of 1. All-Stars pitches Honor of the Jedi. Certainly not a card that's going to be very helpful in this matchup, especially with Tom sitting on 3 battlegrounds to begin with. So it'd be very unlikely that this Maul ship is ever going to stick around in front of Wedge. So unless he's got a third X-Wing cannon, All-Stars is going to have trouble. Wow, okay. There's a second Emperor shuttle. We'll see if it's got anybody to back it up. So he does play 2 shuttles. And he opts to go to Bespin with it. He's got the rapid fire. He's only got 1 force saved, but there was no weapon in there. Okay, so he just cycled a 5 and shuffled his deck. He does use Haven to add a second Battle Destiny, though. So Luke will get 2 draws here. Might just kill Dr. E is probably what I'm expecting to have happen here. I'm sure Tom's got a pretty decent destiny, probably that Dark Time that he keeps drawing. So he'll draw another 4. Oh, masterful move. Nice big 6. Okay. That's a good move by Tom, whether he's been, just following that around for a little while or happen to get lucky. All-Stars is going to have 2 draws here. There's that Hark Seth that he keeps drawing over and over again. And he's got another It's a Hit to go with it. So he's got 2 It's a Hit. So they both end up drawing 6, which will just be 1 battle damage for All-Stars here. So Dr. E does get to live to fight another day. And All-Stars pitches organized attack. Hey, you're up to 12 people watching. Nobody likes typing, but we're up to 12 people watching, so thanks for watching, guys. But now the question is going to become is what to do with Mr. Maul. He doesn't move him and he doesn't cloak him. The Emperor's shuttle is just kind of hanging out there by his lonesome as well at Bespin. This might be the turn where All-Stars finally deploys Hark Seth because he can do some decent battle damage overflow. Yeah, he activated. Hark Seth is sitting on top right now. He activates right down to him. So we'll see if he just skips the trying to liberate. Because that is optional, right? May draw destiny. Okay. So he could just skip that. Match up for Hark Seth to Bespin, have more power, add a destiny to power, and clear the shuttle. There's no force save for a barrier or any type of reactor or anything like that. Yay! People do type. Andy, finish school so you can come play in live events again. And thanks, Wayne. So All-Star's probably just counting out his force now, trying to figure out what exactly he wants to do. Hark Overseer, I believe, costs 4. 1 to battle would be 5, so he could pay to drain at Kashyyyk and then deploy Hark, unless he's got something else he wants to deploy with it, because if he has anything else that would at least let him get a battle destiny as well, then he could do more than just power damage. He could, make sure he clears the ship and force out the Gick if Tom has it. No. Yep. So there's the Hark Overseer. That's going to go to Bespin, I would expect. All right, good. Thanks for not making me look bad, Justin. So, this thing is power 5. It's immune to less than 6 because it's at Bespin, and it adds a destiny to power. So now he wants to see if there's something else he can deploy for 5 force that would also give him a battle destiny. Not that he needs it, but there isn't. So he'll just battle. He'll add his destiny to power, even if it's like a 3. That's still 8 to 2. That would mean he'd either have to peel 6 cards or lose the shuttle in a card. It's a 5, it's a rapid fire, so that's 10 to 2. That's an 8 force difference, so it's the shuttle and 3. Or a copy of Gick. He does have the Gick, okay. Not surprising, but if he was going to make a bold play like that and just kind of throw a ship down by himself, you would have to figure he's got something to back it up. And then we'll see where he moves. If he wants to move anywhere, he's going to move Hark over. And then draw a couple. Yeah, it's not surprising. Hark's only immune to 4, but he still gives him more power, plus a destiny to power, plus 2 battle destiny now. So it's very unlikely that Maul will battle Luke again this turn. All-Stars cycles another 5. Just playing it to prevent occupation damage that doesn't exist, but it's not against the rules, so go ahead and just freely cycle some 5s around where you can find them. He throws away TK 422. The version of Han we almost never see. For those of you who don't know what he does, he deploys as an undercover spy, but only to same site as an Imperial. And he makes Imperials deploy +1, and he can voluntarily break cover only during your move phase by using 3 force. Tom's going to drop a Phantom Menace. Which serves absolutely no purpose other than the fact that I guess if he battles and loses Maul, he can put a 7 back. So Steve, we were talking about you earlier, buddy. At least twice. So looks like Tom clearly had Justin on some type of throne room mains type deck, and Justin clearly expected Tom to play some type of hunt down type deck, and I guess they're just sort of making up the difference. So, but Tom's certainly not in a great spot right now. The longer this game goes on, he's doing 2 damage a turn at these 2 sites here, but one of them is getting offset by Luke. So there's going to come that point in time where All-Stars is going to, put Wackling back, get a card or 2 back, keep getting cards back with Luke. Cards that are in his hand are going to end up in his lost pile, then they're going to get retrieved and end up back in his reserve deck. So, he can continue to grind for a few more turns, but he's fallen behind on board position and just has to start thinking about differential at this point. Yeah, if he can find a way to flip himself again, he's had an opportunity earlier too, but passed it up, and now he's just looking for, I don't know if he's got any more rebels left, or otherwise he's just going to have to hope Maul moves away at some point. Tom drawing back up to 12 though. He's He's got plenty of cards in hand, not a lot of force to use them with, though. And All-Star should have that 5 tracked from last battle if he really wants to liberate Kashyyyk now with Luke, with Wedge. He should be able to do that. Expected him to play Hunt Down or CCT. Yeah, CCT for Tom would not be out. Certainly a deck he had favored quite a bit for a while. He pays the drain, but he opts not to draw the Destiny to try to liberate. Not really. Doesn't really need to. I'm sure if he's... Oh, he needs 3. Yeah, because Tom didn't move away or anything like that, so... Bosch finally goes down to block the drain and break cover, because she can battle, because Min Kun doesn't get Battle Destiny. I should have left 4 cards then. Draw Battle Destiny with Bosch, and... Oh, he's got Jyn Erso. I've always wanted to play a deck with all those, deploy undercover spies with Bosch, Jyn, and TK. And looks like this is the one I should have been doing it with. I guess the question is can he get any overflow on Min Kun? By being flipped and having the ship here at the system, he gets +2 power, so he's up to 9. Min covers 5, so that's a tie. So then it just comes down to what he draws for Battle Destiny here. It's a well-tracked 5. If Tom was smart, he would just peel the 6 cards he has down before All-Stars puts Wackling out of play and gets 1 more card back. But I guess he's going to try and squeeze out 1 more turn. But he could have just protected his differential right there. And this may be one of the things that, Tom's a relatively new player. Tom plays only online, didn't really play much in the Decipher era. So he may not be thinking as critically about differential as... he's played a few tournaments. He's played the Gem PC and things like that where differential does matter. So, but it may not be, as common for him as it is for some of the older or more experienced players who've played in more match play type tournaments or top 8s and those kinds of things. Like the 2-time world champion All-Stars. Go ahead and use his objective and retrieve a card. But he doesn't have an extra force for Wackling, though. Tom can drain for 1. That'll be the 1 card that he's got in his hand, I would expect. And then I'll probably just draw up. Yeah, that was the Hujix. Pass deploy. Yeah, looks like he's just going to go right to the end here. He's too used to crushing noobs. Yep, and he'll just draw up. So it looks like All Stars is going to pick up a win by 17 here with Lightside. It's a solid win. It's not, certainly not something that either player, should feel super comfortable with, but it's a solid win for All Stars here. Certainly, you know, uh, could go either way in game two whenever they do decide to get that scheduled. Nice game played by both players. Thank you to everybody for joining in the chat and for watching on the Twitch stream. My fault for not. Oh, Tom goes ahead and concedes his light side game. So All Stars will win and advance, and looks like Tom says he doesn't have time to do this anymore. So I don't know. I think he's in school right now, so maybe his school schedule got a little too busy. So that's going to do it. So All Stars will advance. We'll go ahead and update the board with that. Congratulations to All Stars on advancing. Congrats to Tom on making the top 16. And that will certainly make up for some interesting matchups now as we've got our next player who's advanced. But thank you guys very much again for watching. And I know we've got game 2 coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow between Mr. Yellow and Cryptophis. They played earlier today. It was Mr. Yellow by 4, I believe, was the differential on that one. So that should be another nail biter. They played for a long time. That was a pretty long game this afternoon. Them lots of maneuvering, very few battles after like the first 2 or 3 turns. Stay tuned. Check us in tomorrow at 3 o'clock. That's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. See you back here 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.